For the first impromptu speech that I have to talk about is on the topic of burritos. Out of the top of my head, I do know that burritos are mistakenly Mexican. I will talk about the ingredients that go into burritos, and I will also talk about the favorite places that I have on burritos. The first things first, the origin of the burrito is not actually from Mexico, it's actually Mexican American. Most people believe it is from Mexico and do say that they're the same as tacos, but they are not. The origin of the burrito is actually in the United States because someone has decided to grab the ingredients that go in tacos or any other Mexican cuisine and make it into a food that actually is enjoyable for some people. The second thing I will talk about burritos is actually what goes in them. It usually is a flour tortilla. It goes with meat, any kind of meat, seasoned usually goes in it. Lettuce, tomatoes, cheese, and also you can add any chips specifically that you want. The favorite places that I have from burritos is actually a Mexican place, usually not very known, but also I do know that Taco Bell has some kind of burritos that I like. Since I am Mexican, I do understand that burritos are good and that tacos are good, but they are not Mexican for me, specifically in the cuisine that I have. In conclusion, burritos are Mexican American. The ingredients vary, but there's usually basic ones. And the favorite places that I have are Taco Bell, Tacos & Co., and also some very homey places. The second impromptu speech I am going to talk about is actually on the topic of France. I will talk about the sightseeing places that most people visit. I will also talk about the language, and I am going to talk about the places that I would like to visit. The first thing I am going to talk about is the sightseeing places. Most people go to Paris, other people go to the Louvre, other people go to the Arc de Triomphe. Most people visit those places because they are very iconic and because the media has portrayed them as a good place to visit, specifically because it is the most known place and a very interesting building, specific the Paris Eiffel Tower. The second thing I was going to talk about is actually the language. The language is actually French. There's also different dialects. I have also seen in different movies and when I have studied French in high school that there are different ways of speaking and also different dialects, also accents. It is not very known to the person who is not used to the fact that French is also a wider language. And also, there's different places in France where they have different accents. These accents can just vary in the fact that you pronounce things or the way of speaking, such as idioms, sayings, or any phrases that some people use and other people don't use. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the vacation places I would like to visit. I do not really want to visit Paris, France, or the Louvre, or any specific places that most tourists take. I want to go to villages or different places that people do not really talk about in order to really experience France. In conclusion, I talked about the sightseeing places of France, the language, and the places I would like to visit. Thank you. The third impromptu speech I will be talking about is actually on relationships. I will talk about different types of relationships, such as friends relationships, social relationships, and also teacher relationships. The first relationship I will talk about is actually about friends. Most people mistake relationships for a significant other, but they actually are also based on being related or friends. Friends are really important to some people because they can share those feelings that they have inside by any means that they would like to share with other people. They would also use friend relationships in order to achieve something. They can use their confidence and other people's confidence in order to build. They can also use those friend relationships to have favors, not by the fact that they need to give any favors, but the fact that it is possible in order to be friendly, hence the word friends, and help other people. The second one is actually social relationships. This can talk about significant others or the way you interact with other people, such as maybe work relationships when you're talking about work or any other project that you have or anything that you need to talk about. Also, significant other relationships are in order for people who want to experience love, who want to experience any other thing that they believe is true. The last one I will talk about is actually about teacher relationships. I want to talk about this topic specifically because I want to become a teacher, and I do know that a parent-teacher relationship and a student-teacher relationship is really important in order for the student to be able to achieve and succeed in their education. Parents are a specifically hard topic in order to connect to the student because they can have problems, or the teacher can have a problem with the parent, and this does not have the best interest in the child. In conclusion, the relationships that I talked about are social, teacher, and also friend relationships. Thank you.